In this video, we're going to talk about multiple listeners in Quincy. This is different than our previous video, which was essentially on multiple workers in Quincy. So we're going to talk about why you'd have multiple listeners. I'll explain the differences between multiple listeners and multiple workers and how to set it up. So why would you want it? It's simple. You want to load balance the user experience. You want people to be able to log into more than one website than the one that Quincy provides out of the box. So you can have an architecture like this, which is the same diagram we used in the multiple workers video. But here, instead of having one listener and 5 workers, we're going to have 2 listeners and 4 workers. And then we can load balance across the 2 listeners and serve up a single IP to my user community. Of course, I could also assign out both of them and tell them, some users to come into this one, some users to come into this one. You don't have to put a load balancer. You don't have to get fancy. It works just as well to just split up your user base, but all of these options are available. All right, in the last video when we talked about multiple workers, we skipped over the concept of licensing. It's a little bit more important when talking about listeners, so let me explain it. When you purchase a collaboration license, you're asked how many workers you want, you purchase the number of workers you want. Each one of these, all of these are considered workers. It doesn't matter whether they're being set up as a listener or not, but you must have a license key that enables at least 2 workers, your primary and another one if you want to set up multiple workers or multiple listeners. And as long as you have a key that enables that, then you should be off and running, with one exception, meaning I'm going to show you how you have to generate your key using the order number that Access Data will provide you. So let's do that now. Let's just go through the whole process, and I think it'll make some sense. So we're going to pretend we were given a license key, and I'm going to go into the Quincy support website. And this is the order number we were quote-unquote given, or we purchased, or whatever. All right, now since I'm making multiple listeners, I need to add multiple machine names. And actually, even before I get to this step, let me show you what happens when you don't do this. All right, this is my primary machine. I've already got it hooked up. This is the machine name. My key is linked to this machine name, and these are the workers I've got set up. If I come into, this is the other worker where I have a listener running, this other machine, this 1010.0.123. And if I fire up Quincy on this machine, I get to the login page. Seems like everything's all good. I'm even able to log in. It looks like I am off and running, and I'm going to start this up. But how can this be? Because I didn't set this up for multiple listeners. I set it up for multiple workers. Well, you're going to see what's going to happen here in a second. Boom, I hit the license key. It's telling me, okay, I don't have a key that allows this machine to connect. I have a key that allows the other machine, the 120 machine, to connect, but not this one. So you can't get past this point. All right, well, let's solve that. We're going to come in here and we're going to enter our order number, and then we need to enter our machine names. So let's grab this one. And now here's an important point, colon. And then we're going to add this one. And then just tim.tim. If you don't put that colon, it's not going to work. That colon is the separator. And okay, now we've got our new key. And we can go either system. We can go to either system and do it, but let's stay on our primary system, and then we'll go back and show how that new machine can now log in. So let's log out of job status here, and we're going to go into the admin page, system administration, license info, and let's go ahead and paste this in. I'm going to save my old key simply because I don't want to have to regenerate it after this demo. So let's open up Notepad and just file new and save. There we go. All right, and then I'm just going to go ahead and enter the new key. It's going to say, in order for this new key to work, we got to restart the listener, or excuse me, restart the session. And I'm going to do a hard refresh. You don't actually have to do a hard refresh. I just like to clear out everything I've had previously. So now what we should see here is we should log in seamlessly. Should be no problem, just same as it was before, no different than we had previously. Only now we're using a slightly different key. Okay, as we expected, we logged in. Perfectly happy. But now let's go back to the other machine and let's try this one again. Now we should see a difference. This time, this one should log in successfully. And you can see this machine also logged in. It's the first time this machine logged in, so it threw up this let's begin sign. You would enter the same information you had before, or you could just skip this entirely. Nonetheless, we are successful, whereas we weren't just a few minutes ago. So that is multiple listeners, and that is how you set it up. Hopefully that's pretty straightforward and pretty simple. Really, the key is just making sure you have the right software key, and then everything else is pretty straightforward. So that's it. Hopefully that's useful, and hopefully you're able to get good value out of the multi-listener functionality. Thanks.